All right, let's dive into one of the weirdest and most fascinating ideas in social psychology. It's called the Pratfall Effect, and it's all about why making a mistake can counterintuitively make someone like you more, not less. Ready? Let's get into it. Think about it for a second. You see a super famous, talented celebrity trip on their way to accept an Oscar. Your first thought might be, oof, that's gotta be embarrassing. But then, something else happens, right? For a lot of us, it actually makes them seem more human, more relatable. So why on earth does that happen?
Well, it turns out this isn't just some random quirk of celebrity culture. Not at all. It is a real, documented psychological phenomenon. This tendency for a simple blunder to actually boost someone's appeal has a name, and once you understand it, it tells you a whole lot about how we see each other.
And here it is, the Pratfall Effect. But I want you to pay close attention to that last part, because it is absolutely crucial. This only works if the person is already seen as highly competent. That is the key. Making a mistake doesn't just make anyone more popular. It all comes down to the reputation you have before you slip up.
So where did this idea come from? Well, the person who first really put this theory to the test was a social psychologist named Elliot Aronson. We have to go all the way back to 1966, when he designed this simple but honestly kind of brilliant experiment to find out if a little blunder could really make a superior person more attractive.
And to really get our heads around this, we need to look at Aronson's classic study. It's famously known as the coffee spill experiment, and it just perfectly lays out exactly how the Pratfall effect works in practice.
So here's what Aronson did. He basically created two fake personas for people in the study to listen to. First, you had the superior person. You know the type. Just a near-perfect individual who aced 92% of some tough trivia questions and had this amazing high school resume. Then you had the average person who was, well, a lot more mediocre. Only got 30% of the questions right, had a less than stellar background. So a really clear gap in competence was established right from the start.
The experiment itself was pretty straightforward. Participants would listen to a tape recording of one of these two candidates auditioning for a quiz show. Now, here's the twist. In some versions of the tape, right near the end, they'd hear a big clatter and the candidate saying, "Oh my goodness, I've spilled coffee all over my new suit." That little moment, that was the pratfall. After listening, all the participants had to do was rate how much they liked the person on the tape.
So, this clever design actually created 4 totally distinct scenarios for the subjects to judge.
You had the superior person, who was flawless, then the superior person who made the coffee mistake. And on the other side, you had the average person who was flawless, and the average person who made that exact same coffee mistake.
Okay, so before I show you the results, just take a guess. Who do you think came out on top? The perfect genius, the regular guy, the clumsy genius, or the clumsy regular guy? The answer is probably not what you'd expect.
And boom, here are the results. The superior person who spilled coffee was rated as the most likable of all. That's right, his little mistake actually made him more appealing. But now look at the other end of the chart. The average person who made the exact same mistake was rated the least likable. For him, the blunder just kind of confirmed his mediocrity and made him even less attractive.
So what is going on here from a psychological perspective? It's all about humanization. The pratfall made the seemingly superhuman candidate feel, well, human. See, people who seem perfect can also seem really distant, maybe even a little intimidating. A small mistake closes that gap. It makes them relatable, more like us, and because of that, more approachable and ultimately more likable.
But, and this is a big but, this effect is not a magic bullet. You probably shouldn't go spilling coffee on your resume during a job interview hoping it'll help you. The context here is everything, and all the research since then has shown that a few other factors can really change the outcome.
So first, as we have already hammered home, competence is the absolute non-negotiable foundation. The effect just doesn't work if people don't respect you first. And second, the mistake has to be minor. Spilling coffee is a relatable slip-up. A major failure that calls your actual competence into question is not. These conditions really are everything.
So what's the big lesson we can take away from all this? The Pratfall effect isn't just some quirky finding from a dusty lab in the 60s. It actually offers a really powerful lesson about perception, connection, and just being human in our everyday lives.
Here's the bottom line. Stop living in fear of making small mistakes. If you've already put in the work and established yourself as someone who is capable and good at what you do, a minor slip-up isn't gonna sink you. In fact, by showing a little bit of your humanity, it might just be the thing that draws people closer to you.
You know,
I think this quote from Ernest Hemingway really puts all of this into perspective. The goal isn't to seem perfect or superior to other people. The real goal, the true nobility, is in personal growth. It's about being better than you were yesterday. Your journey, stumbles and all, is what really defines you.
And that's the thought I want to leave you with. Instead of chasing this impossible and frankly kind of alienating standard of perfection, what if we all just embraced our occasional coffee-spilling humanity? It might just be the most likable thing we can do. Thanks for tuning in.